My name is Chris Claremont. You're watching Omni X-Men.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Omni X-Men. We are back. It is Monday. I know it's a little different because we're usually streaming on Tuesdays, especially just kicking off the season just a couple weeks ago. So we're really throwing you off. But yeah, we just had to make an adjustment this week. So we're here on a Monday. For those who are new to the show, we normally do it on Tuesdays at 9 o'clock Eastern. So that'll be the normal schedule. But yeah, for this week, we're doing today. So happy Mutant Monday. I don't get to say that too often on our Tuesday shows. So kind of worked out, you know. But I hope everyone's doing well. And of course, we're talking about this issue right here for Omni X-Men. It's Uncanny X-Men issue 177. And yeah, beautiful John Romita cover here. Really excited to talk about it. And of course, it's not just me, it's also my good friend and co-host John from John's Comics with Kids. John.
Hey, what is going on, people? Excited to talk some John Romita, and we got an awesome guest who definitely knows his mutant stuff. So we're excited to have him in here with us.
Yeah, man, I'm pumped. Again, thanks for we're switching it up on a Monday here, so but this totally works out. You notice, John, I'm getting smooth, a little more smooth with my Chris Claremont video intro there. We don't get any promos.
So. He'll ramble. You got to edit it.
you got to cut it out at some point. All right. Yes. As you mentioned, we have our special guest of the night. It's our good friend and returning special guest, because he's been here at least last year, maybe twice.
I think this is his second time.
Second time, and third time on the channel in general. Good friend Eric, aka X Illusionary Comics X-Men.
X-Men.
What up, man? How you doing?
What's going on?
Good, man. Doing good. Appreciate you coming on board here and doing another breakdown with us.
Always a pleasure to come back. Love X-Men.
And you got the Jim Lee shirt. You're ready for talking some X-Men. Yeah. I can already tell.
Yeah, I wish I could show you the back. It's got the claws.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, I mean, Wolverine's important in this issue. We get some good Wolverine stuff.
Yeah,
it's true. It's very true. Well, we appreciate it, man. And for those who do not know X-Man, X Illusionary Comics, make sure you follow him over on Instagram. I put your information in the description below for anybody who's joining us right now live, if you're watching the replay. And again, quick reminder, we are on John's channel next Tuesday. So if you're looking for the show again, as we're back to our regular program, it'll be 9 o'clock Tuesday on his channel. So make sure you follow John. His information is also in the description below if you're not already following him. All right, so we had talked a little bit about some rapid fire and everything else, but before we get into all that, I want to take a moment, say a quick hello to the chat. See, we got a couple people hanging out. John at like 5:45 this morning. Let's go. He's excited.
I got up early, just excited for this.
Oh, yeah. Of course, we got our good friend JP in the chat. Oh, looks like he says there is almost zero chance I'm awake for this. So so it is critical that I get this in the chat. Cyclops sucks, he says. Enjoy, everyone. We know how JP feels about Cyclops.
He's not even in this issue. Give it a rest, buddy.
Yeah, seriously.
Actually, he is in this issue. I mean, ish.
Let's see, we got our good friend Ryan, aka Magic Lasso. He was just our guest last week over on John's channel, so if you guys missed that, go check that out. We broke down X-Men 176. So Ryan, good to see you. He says, is this show where John tries to get Storm and then ranks her as number one?
If you've been watching me on Instagram, I've been posting these videos of me trying to rank the X-Men from best to worst, and I'm trying to save the number one spot for Storm, and I've been hosed 7 times in a row, not getting Storm every single time, but getting all these other people, and then throwing in, Iceman, or today was Forge. Ridiculous. Just shenanigans.
Let's see, we got Candace in the chat. What is up, Candace? Good to see you as always. Another special guest that'll be coming up here in a few weeks, I think, or a few months. Good to see you as always. We also have our good friend Eric, aka Side Quest Comics, just changed his name recently, so very cool new handle that he's got going on here. So good to see you, Eric. Let's see, I think we get everybody at the So 7 times. Yeah, see, there you go.
7 times. Yes. Be ready for tomorrow, number 8.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So yeah, appreciate everybody who's here live, or if you're watching the replay, take a moment to smash that like button. Also, a reminder for everybody, whether you're new or not, stick around for the end of the show. After we break down issue 177, we will have some trivia based on last week's episode, where we'll have 4 questions that we're going to ask, and you have an opportunity to get your name on the board, which can give you a chance to win some really cool artwork at the end of the season, which will be later, technically summer-ish of next year. So we'll go over.
We're reading an omnibus, people. You
that.
can't expect it to go fast. I mean, that takes a while to read this.
We're just at the very beginning of this one, so we got a little ways to go.
Yeah.
So all right, let's get into talking with Eric here a little bit about some of the rapid fire questions that you have, John. Eric, we're looking for a rapid fire, so these are yes or no questions, no wrong answers. It's well, maybe wrong answer. We'll tell you if you're wrong, but
we're just trying to put you on the spot and get a sense of your love for the X-Men here.
Yes, exactly. So, go ahead, John.
Right.
I'll let you run.
So question number 1, I saw you had some Gambit on your Instagram there. My question, I've always wondered this about Gambit. I'm curious what your thoughts are. Gambit, he loves his Rogue, but obviously a lot of issues with touching her. Do you think Gambit has a side piece?
Yes, of course.
What a great question.
So good. I love it.
Yep, I'm with you there.
I'll be-
I mean, it's Gambit, right? He's such a skis. You got to know, right?
Yeah.
But I also
Hit him with
think
the hard ones. Hard question.
Second question: do you think Rogue would be understanding about it?
Maybe based on her character and how she's so scared about touching someone and all that stuff. But maybe she might be understanding. I don't know. She might kill him. I don't know. I say yes. My first answer would be yes. I would say yes.
All right. So, is John Byrne the best X-Men artist of all time?
Absolutely.
Ooh, there
Correct.
it was, definitive.
Correct.
I love it. I know you're a Wolverine and a Spider-Man fan. Could Wolverine defeat Spider-Man?
Yes.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I agree with it. And I love it.
Definitely.
Let's see here. Is Cyclops the best X-Men team leader?
Of course.
Ooh, all right.
AP.
All right.
Good thing you're out of the chat. Zip it.
Some people
I didn't
might
have to think about
disagree.
that one.
You didn't even have to think about it. Love it.
All right. Is Rob Liefeld the least talented mutant artist?
I know people probably like. He is. I don't. I have to say, I can't. I don't even. When I try to compare in my mind, no. He's the worst. He's the worst.
I will say there was some pretty bad X Factor writers in the day. Like there were some X Factor had some pretty horrible artists back in the day. I was always like, Louise needed to up the game on who she got on that book.
I never had that question. Just so you know, that's the first time I had it.
Is Dr. Doom a villain?
Well, to me, yes.
Okay.
To me, yeah.
Sure.
Is it okay to rephrase that question in a second?
Nope.
Well, to himself, he probably thinks he's not.
All right. Most villains wouldn't, right?
Sure.
But to me, yeah, definitely.
Is it better to join the X-Men than the Avengers?
Yes.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah.
Yes, you can break the rule.
Avengers get cheered when they show up. X-Men don't get cheered when they show up.
That's true.
Are redheads dangerous?
Yes.
I love that question.
Yeah, he had to think about it.
I mean, it's important to think about.
It is.
Let's see
In
here.
terms of X-Men, yes.
Do you like? Sorry, are the '90s X-Men better than '80s X-Men?
No, not by any means.
There it is. I love it.
it.
I think I get 2 more. Is Professor Xavier a creep? Let me rephrase that because I know Kitty Pryde called him a jerk. Is Professor Xavier a jerk?
Yeah, he's a jerk.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so.
Yeah, he's definitely a jerk.
And last question. Do you think it's dangerous having a danger room at a school?
Yes.
He said, definitely.
Thanks, Eric, man. That was a lot of fun.
Nice choices, Eric. I think you're spot on.
I think I agree on all of them. So
Yeah. Let's see. We have our good friend Kevin in the chat. Entropy in Comics. Hello, my friend.
What's up, Kev?
And Candace says yes, and a creep. He is a jerk and a creep. Yeah. I told you he's a creepy jerk. You know?
I had to inform some people that didn't realize that early on, like Xavier mentioned, having love for Jean Grey, like he was in love with her. Like I can't tell my true love.
That's just
early X-Men. I think that was issue 4 or 3, like the Juggernaut issue. I think. No, it was the Blob. There was the Blob issue, issue 3, I think.
Ooh.
Yep.
Speaking of Blob, spoilers. All right, gang. Let's get into the issue here. Eric, thanks for going through the gauntlet of questions that John had prepared. You made it through. All right, let's bring this up here. So, obviously, first and foremost, we like to always start out with talking about the cover. So, got to start here first. I know we've changed it up recently since Ramita's taken over now, so wanted to highlight this is also him doing the cover here. I'm going to start with you, John. What were your initial thoughts when you see this cover, 177?
So I have mixed emotions on this one. It's not one of my favorites. I love the pose of Wolverine and on the high angle. I think the background is really boring and really lazy. I'm usually a fan of green covers. This one's not working. And then Kitty Pryde's outfit, man. I know she's notorious for these outfits. But yikes, this is the 80s. We're living it right now. She's just a material girl, living in that material world. So for me, and maybe it's just the outfit and coloring that are the biggest flaws here, but it's not great. It's not great. I would not rank this one super high. I am curious why Wolverine is standing over a seemingly dead Kitty Pryde, but it makes me interested to read it probably. But The cover is not one that I literally look at and love.
Yeah, that's fair. Eric, what about you? What are your thoughts on this cover as a whole?
So I had mixed feelings about this cover too. It's not very, it's what's alarming about it. I would say alarming is that you see Wolverine, like John said, standing over top of Kitty. But the first thing you think is like he's got the claws out, but where's the blood? It doesn't make sense. So so it's making you say, I gotta see what happened. What has he done and why is he standing over? The art, I'm not really crazy about that, but what I like about the art, which kind of stands out to me, is that the way he draws Wolverine sometimes, it's either got to be like a shadowy type thing with the face, and you don't see his face. So it looks it gives you that dark little feeling about it.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about it. But other than that, it's just confusing.
Yeah, no, it's great points. It's interesting. We talked a little bit last episode from 176, where they had used kind of similar strategy of not showing Wolverine's whole face. So you kind of get more of that here on this one. I agree with you guys. I think, I don't know what, for some reason, it's just is kind of bland to me. I don't know if it's just I feel like it's a lack of detail in it that I'm used to seeing something, more than that. I don't know if maybe it's his legs or I don't know what it is. It just seems a little more bubbly of a drawing. I don't know. I'm still getting used to Ramita and his artwork at this time. And, and I know people have mixed feelings about it in general. So, and of course we're coming off of some of the great artists that were on X-Men that it's hard to kind of compare in that sense. So, not one of my favorites, but I do agree, John, as you mentioned, curiosity on this cover definitely has me especially coming off of last issue. It was essentially a Scott Summers issue, and Madeline Pryor and the storm they went through and everything else. So for them to go from that to what looks to be, I don't know, like Kitty injured or whatever, and Wolverine standing over, definitely would start up a conversation or would make me want to buy it just to read more. So I see a couple other people in the chat jumped in. Just want to say a quick hello. Mark Salza, what's going on, Mark? So did anyone see the creator? It seemed. Oh no. Oh no. I saw the commercials, man, but I have not seen the movie yet. Let's see, Todd Christian in the chat as well. Good to see you, Todd. Thanks for hanging out with us. Ryan says that he thinks the cover concept is good, but the art doesn't sell me. Yeah, agreed. All right, let's get into this here. John, I got to get used to going back and forth here with setting the tabs. Usually I do it right through StreamYard, but all right, here we go. So this is a wild one. So we're jumping right into it, and it takes place again by the cover. I have no idea what we're getting into, but apparently we're at some sort of circus, and you see Wolverine right off the bat on the first. Almost like more of a semi-splash page there, pouncing on Mystique, which then goes into this wild battle, quite short one, as you can always, these are our first 2 pages in, and essentially Wolverine is defeated as she like jabs him in the neck, and also the narration in this opening scene is Mystique speaking and talking a little bit about her taking on the team, wanting to. Well, she actually starts with talking about the circus, how she always wanted to join it herself, and then from there, mentions that how things could go wrong in this scenario, and then immediately just starts narrating about the attack itself from Wolverine and how she kind of quickly handles him, even though he's a man of metal, from his bones. So, John, what were your initial thoughts here, just on this opening scene? Did you expect to land where we are so far, and what did you think of seeing Wolverine in this situation?
I mean, I certainly had to go to in my head, but wait, where are we? What happened? I feel like I missed an issue. I was like, wait, do I need to go back? What's going on? Right. Which I loved that I flipped. I even went back to the last issue. Was like, okay, I didn't miss anything. This is where they want me to feel this way. I just got to roll with it. As much as I was like, the art on the cover doesn't work as well for me. These 2 pages, in fact, this whole opening sequence with Mystique, I love. This is what I dig about this issue. I feel like Romita Jr. handles action and movement really, really well. So an action sequence like this, I know his characters are a little shorter and stockier, but what you end up with is that Mystique who's just like walking all kinds of gorgeous. Look at that. She's like, I'm just at a circus here in my, mini skirt here, my flowing skirt, and just like whatever. Like this is just living the dream. Yeah. So this whole sequence, I adore it and I love it. So I was hooked right here at the beginning. Reading it again now, like, oh, this just took me way back.
Yeah, nice. Eric, what about you? Like, were you thrown off here when you opened this book up? Did you kind of get an idea of what was going on at first, or what were your initial thoughts?
Definitely. When I first opened up, I'm like, hold on. I just stopped myself. Like, what did I miss? What's going on? But I was also excited. Like, oh my God, it's about to go down already. As soon as I open up, there's a fight scene. There's something going to go on right now. And I start reading about the circus. I'm like, wait, is Nightcrawler coming out somewhere? Like, because the circus, that's the first thought that came to my mind when I heard circus, when she's talking about it. But the opening scene was just great. It takes you by surprise. And the way he draws the fight scenes, and when she's, kicks Wolverine in the head and all that stuff, she talks about his bones and stuff. Really cool stuff that you would not expect to see in the first several pages. It just throws me off, takes me by surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely feeling the same way. But I agree too. Like, they're jumping right into the action scenes right away, and I'm like, oh, all right, like let's do it. Let's see where it goes from here. And we get more, because as we jump on, right away we see Kitty coming through. She's got like the 70s vibe with the headband and everything coming through her outfit there. And she immediately sees Wolverine down after being stabbed in the neck by Mystique. She goes over to check him out, and lo and behold, it's actually not him. She screams, by the way. She screams murderer, and it ends up being sorry, did I just jump the wrong? Oh, that's after,
I think Colossus is screaming.
That's the boom after. Yeah. So yeah, she ends up Wolverine ends up waking up and stabbing Kitty Pryde. Ends up not being Wolverine. Of course, it's Mystique instead, as she's playing her tricks of the trade. And then right afterwards is the explosion, and that's when Colossus comes right in, following up. And meanwhile, this whole time she's kind of narrating the weaknesses of each of the X-Men and noticing these little items of or she's pinpointing certain weaknesses that she knows that she can kind of take them out. And so here she uses her what's she called, the skull flare, or the flare skull that she throws up. It explodes in his face. As you can see, Colossus there is holding his face, looking down, before she moves on to go inside what looks to be, the fun house. But we have
Cyclops blasts her, because she gets hit with Cyclops's blast, and then she has to run away before he can get her again.
Oh yeah, so right, so that's where she goes, chases him after that into the fun house, and then and I'll pass this on to you guys, but this is where, as you see her go inside, Cyclops himself has some doubt about even going in. He tells Colossus, hold off, like don't go in there yet. This is what she wants you to do. And of course, it does seem like they're playing right into her tricks, as she recognizes that, and immediately is able to take Colossus out in a way where he's the mirrors in the funhouse is what's really throwing everybody off, right? And that allows her to or Cyclops thinking he's going to shoot at her, and instead he hits Colossus. And that was her whole plan this whole time, knowing that his beam could, essentially go, take out the metal of Colossus there. And then the middle panels here, she sneaks up on him, starts to choke him out.
It's so awesome.
Yeah, like really brutal. Like this was all like got really dark, really
He's
quick.
Like screaming, and you see her with like the little like cord right behind you, and then she's just like zip.
Dude,
and then you see from over her back, and she's just like making quick work of him. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then immediately after changes her clothes. I love it.
Yep.
So wardrobe change.
Instant wardrobe change. We've seen this several times from some of the X-Men, so she is also doing it. So she swaps it out, and of course Storm shows up. And they go at it, but this suit that she has on is able to not only handle anything that Storm throws at her, but she's actually able to turn it around and kind of send it back her way. And as you see on those, and as you see on the right hand side there, she tries to shoot at her. Storm dodges it, but she's like, I actually wanted Storm to dodge that. So she hits this tank behind her, which explodes, and ultimately taking Storm out. So, Eric, what did you think of some of these transitions as we just gone? Again, a lot of action so far. Still not quite sure where we're at, but we're in a circus, a fun house with mirrors, and she's basically using Cyclops to take out Colossus and everything else. What are your thoughts here so far on this?
Yeah, it looks like it was very orchestrated and planned out. But it had me mad, to be honest. I was like, how is she taking all of them out? Like she's really, got this whole thing planned out, and she's just picking them apart. And I was kind of like, wait, hold up. My mind automatically went back to the early X-Men issues in the early 100. Why are they fighting like this? What the hell's going on? That's the first thought. I'm like, this team's been together for a long time. Why are they fighting like this? And she's picking them off. Yeah. So I was kind of mad, and I was like, all right, I just can't wait to get to the next page. Something's got to give. Something's got to happen.
Right. No, you're absolutely right too. It seems almost like sloppy in a way for what we know of the X-Men and how they normally operate. So, John, what about you? What were your thoughts here? We see them getting picked off.
If you want to go back one slide, I'm sorry to make you. Go. I love the skull flare. I don't think it gets used enough in comics. I think it's a cool gimmick that she's got, and the way she uses it against Colossus to basically blind him and try to burn his face. I love when Cyclops sneaks up on her, gets the drop on her. There's just so many fun. This whole sequence, I had a blast reading this and just asking questions of, wait, I forgot what happened here. When did this happen? What's going on? What's up, Sheena in the chat?
Yep.
Eminem in the chat.
Hey.
And then my favorite's got to be the killing of Cyclops. It's just so brutal. The way she just garrots him. It's just like, I just love the whole. I love that it's like from a distance over her back, and you just see her elbows shaking as she's just like, this is it, just finishing him off. So cool. And then I think Ryan mentioned, it's clearly, if we've been keeping up, clearly some kind of fantasy or whatever, because Storm's in her older costume and she doesn't have her mohawk, so something is funky in this storyline, because we've seen Storm has changed her look. It's a big part of where she's at right now in the story. So to see her back in the retro look should make us question things, right?
Right.
Plus, of course, we've seen Cyclops on vacation with his new wife. Why is he at the circus? These are all things we should be asking. And Wolverine's in Japan, right? Come on.
Very true. Very true. I missed this one earlier. Eric said some of my early memories of comic art was JR. Love how he did the ladies' outfits.
And to that great point, I was going to highlight how I know JR gets a lot of grief for his artwork style and how it evolved. And I know his Daredevil stuff in particular can get really rough. I love his early stuff, and this stuff really works for me. This is the JR I'm happy to defend repeatedly over and over again. This was the same for me. This was my era of X-Men, the stuff I was picking up.
Yeah,
I have to agree here, John. I agree 100%.
Yeah. Candace said, I had a feeling that this wasn't real, and wasn't sure if it was a dream or what. But yeah, no, it's great points that everyone's bringing up. Well, let's get to the ongoing portion here, because right afterwards we get Rogue, who's recently joined the X-Men, and she shows up, and she's got a tree trunk essentially that she's swinging like it's a baseball bat. And there's a little reserve here from Mystique, as she's mentioning, because she doesn't want to hurt her. She really has this connection with her based on some of the issues we've read in the recent past issues, but and even like some of the ones we haven't even covered on here that John, you had pointed out in the ROM series, to kind of show a little bit more of the relationship between Mystique and Rogue. So this is clearly she's there to kind of in a way rescue her, is what it seemed like. And Rogue is not having it. She's like, no, I'm here. I'm an X-Man. I'm here to protect them and try to take you out. And as much as she doesn't want to do it, Mystique pulls the trigger and zaps her and takes her out as well. But you can tell, just within her thoughts, she didn't want to hurt her. She didn't.
That panel right underneath where she zaps her, where you can just see her shrieking in pain.
Yes.
It caused her physical pain to do that to Rogue, who she calls, I think, her adopted daughter in this issue.
Yeah. She said she leaves me no choice, and she shoots it. And she's torn by it. And then of course, right afterwards, you get this wild attack from Nightcrawler, who, by the way, this bamfing on that left, the far corner there, seeing from the ceiling view of him shooting from one spot to the next, I thought that was really cool and very different from what we've seen anytime recently of a way to show his powers off. And then of course he knocks her out and she just blacks out at that very point. So Eric, what did you think about some of the interactions with her hesitation with Rogue, and were you following this at the time, or like kind of the relationship between the two of them?
Yes. So I wasn't surprised. I was expecting to get some type of reaction like that, but I think it was really brilliant how they coordinated the whole sequence between what was going on, how he's feeling about Rogue, and then bringing Nightcrawler in at the same time. And Nightcrawler with the bamfing all around, and it's so quick. Normally, that type of power he has, he's like most of the people are drained by the time they reappear again. They're drained or something, have some type of effect. So I was kind of like, she didn't have time. It looked like she didn't have time to think about what was going on from one point to the next. Right. It was brilliant how he coordinated when he drew the panels in the way he did.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And even seeing her, she's got the knife, she's about to strike, like she really has a moment to do it. And she even says, I hesitated. John, what were your thoughts there on she's already like hesitant with Rogue and everything kind of going on in that relationship. Did you pick this up and see this opportunity where she holds off?
I've always liked Mystique as a character because she's so torn. She has incredible loyalty to those people that she ever considers to be in some way or another family, adopted or otherwise.
Right.
But she's also someone who gets the job done at all costs. It doesn't matter if she's working for the Brotherhood or for the X-Men or whomever. She's going to do what has to be done. And no matter how bloody it is, she has no care about her mortal soul. Like none of that matters to her. The ends will always justify her means. So she's happy to be doomed to hell for doing whatever it is, as long as she succeeds in whatever task she's laid out. So this is interesting to see her hesitate. It's interesting to see her trying to do the right thing, if there ever is such an option for her. And this is the early stages of getting what we could call a backstory for Mystique. Her backstory and her is very convoluted and takes place over, decades of time where we're getting information slowly bled out. So this is just a fun little, like, I don't know, nugget, a little tease here.
Yeah. No, absolutely. One thing I want to note with this too is, first time around, I read this digitally as I normally do before I read it again with Omnibus. And this was a cool scene to be able to kind of see some of these action scenes and then it go pitch black. I always think that's a really effective, way to utilize a panel that, you would think otherwise, you would think might be a waste otherwise. So, that was a cool experience to add in there with that as well. All right, so I'm going to keep jumping into it now. Of course, after she wakes up, it kind of gets revealed that, in fact, it wasn't reality. It turns out that we get our good friend Arcade back after it's been a little while. I think those issues with Dr. Doom.
Haven't seen Banshee in forever.
Yeah, right.
We know that pisses off Chet whenever we make mistakes of thinking Arcade and Banshee are the same guy.
So, of course, I had to put a laughing Joker there because that is, to me, very much reminds me of
the maniacal laugh, right?
Yeah, the Marvel Joker, right? Essentially. So this here in these panels, it reveals that the whole thing was essentially just a simulator. It was his game. This is what he likes to do, as we've met him from several issues prior, a couple seasons ago now at this point. And I like that we got Miss Locke. Of course, she's still with Arcade as well, kind of his right hand. And he's popping champagne, he's celebrating, he's happy. She looks like a bit miserable in a way, but even though they're drinking and everything, of course, she did get knocked out. But with that, they kind of discussed the idea of the simulation that they went through and how, points in which she hesitated, points in which she did well, and then also her idea of putting her team through this, the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, to get better at defeating the X-Men and understanding how they work. She does point out the fact that, hey, you didn't have them work together. These are robots essentially, right? But you had me attack them one at a time. But he still points out it's a really impressive thing that you were able to do to take out 6 of the 7 of the robot X-Men essentially. So we get this whole reveal for this, and then of course it kind of turns to the last set of panels there on the right, as you see. Man, my mind was just
Kitty Pryde and Stevie's dance.
No, sorry, but no.
Destiny.
I always have a draw blank with Destiny's name.
She looks a little bit like Aunt May in this particular set.
I was gonna say
it's not Aunt May. It's not Aunt May.
Always making her look much older at this time period. It always throws me off. But so she kind of pokes a little bit at Mystique and highlights the fact that, hey, I know, you hesitate with, you say you hesitate with Rogue. She's very much like, I'm trying to get Rogue back. I believe that she's, there's no way she would just willingly join the X-Men. And if she, it has to be, she thinks it's Professor X, right? That's like kind of making her be part of the X-Men. And then she said the other thing was that Destiny kind of pokes at her is, you're hesitating towards a Nightcrawler. What's going on with that? And, it kind of, for a moment, she gets pretty angry about it. And she says, listen, no one's going to stand in my way. If I take out whoever I have to, like, I'll do it. So she seems pretty determined, but otherwise, some touchy points as they were pointed out there. So, John, I'll start with you first here. What were your thoughts on just seeing Arcade back and finally getting the understanding that, oh, okay, this is, Arcade up to his games, his old tricks that we're used to.
The return of Murder World. Yes. Obviously, when he comes in, it's a great opportunity just for shenanigans, right? He's got that Mr. Mixopolitic kind of style of just taking a universe and turning it on its head and forcing you to deal with it. I do like Mystique's responses. I do love the intensity that builds in this scene. And then, of course, that final look at her eyes. When you just see Mystique's eyes and she is just so upset that something she valued, some part of herself that had become motherly in some way that had not had the opportunity till then, is now being robbed from her. She definitely feels wronged. And in that way, a woman scorned, you better watch out. Mystique's not going to take no for an answer.
Yep. Yeah, that's great. Great points. Yeah, the eyes, the zoom in at the end there, especially.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Eric, what about you? What were your thoughts here now that we've got the reveal, get a bit more of an understanding of what we were just reading the pages prior to that, and then also hearing Mystique kind of and her hesitations with some of this stuff with some of her relationships with the X-Men.
I was actually excited to see Arcade back, and we haven't seen him for a couple of issues. It's been quite some time since we saw him, since the thing with I think Havoc and Iceman, that issue. So we haven't seen him for quite some time, and it made total sense now, where you have Storm in the old costume and how the X-Men were getting picked off. So I think that was pretty cool. But I think it was really cool how they're talking to Mystique, and she's talking about hesitating and stuff, Nightcrawler. It makes you think of what's going on with that, because we still don't really know what's going on with that. I don't want to say any spoilers or anything too much into that, but we still don't know what's going on with that. So I think that great how they touch upon that, and he's kind of like antagonizing her, messing with her to see if she's really going to be the type of person she has to be to either do what needs to be done. And then, like you said, like John said, I agree. It's kind of cool when they kind of start with a small panel, then the eyes. And then it's pretty cool. I think that was pretty cool. But overall, I think John Romita did an excellent job on the last couple pages. Were like really, really good in that particular order.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the motions and everything else that he's drawn up. I agree.
So, Candace, Arcade is a villain in Marvel who has a lot of money, and he creates these places he calls Murder World, where it's basically an opportunity to test superheroes. He usually does this against the X-Men, but it's not always. He does have appearances in other books.
Spider-Man.
The idea is, Spider-Man. He captures people, puts them in his murder world, and it's kind of like, I don't know if you've seen Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Running Man, but it's basically like, for his entertainment, he's got a show, and he's watching it, and he's manipulating them, trying to kill them. And obviously the heroes usually live, and Arcade escapes or gets captured, and then creates another murder world down the road somewhere.
Yeah. Ryan says, I love how Arcade only has one time.
He really does. Yeah.
That's all you need. Hey, that's all you need, Todd says Arcade is an underrated villain. Wish Marvel used him more over the years. Murder World is an awesome concept. Yeah, I agree. Definitely love the concept of it. I'm a little surprised too. I mean, I don't have much experience with Arcade other than what we've read for this. I do know recently in like current comics, they had brought back Murder World. I didn't get a chance to read that yet, but I think it's like a mini series that they had started to release. But I was interested to pick that back up because I agree. It's definitely a cool concept that I would have hoped that they explored at least through the 80s and 90s, but I guess not so much. There it is. They did a bunch of one shots called Murder World. Oh, he's like a year ago. Yep, exactly, Eric. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. I appreciate you asking, because sometimes we forget like that this could be the first exposure to these characters.
Totally.
And for those that obviously, you may have seen Destiny in the current version of Destiny where she's far younger because they've resurrected her as a younger version of herself. Right. May not be used to the Aunt May version that she takes the gold face off and the hood, and you don't see the gams, like her costume is like all legs. Yeah. When you don't see her all legs, you don't realize that she's like, in her 60s or whatever.
It's true. And even Rogue, like they made Rogue, much older at this time period too.
Yep.
From what it looked like, even though there's references here of Mystique saying it's her daughter, her adopted daughter or whatever. So definitely a little bit of an age difference, but drawing wise, they look much older, all of them. All right. So let's keep this going here. We kind of change gears just a little bit as we get to Kitty Pryde now, the real Kitty Pryde. No robots here in this scene, but of course this takes place back at Stevie what's her last name? Hunter. Stevie Hunter, the dance studio back in New York City. Something's up. She's been feeling really bummed about it. And Stevie asks, points it out and asks her, says, what's going on? And clearly she admits she's like, well, she kind of questions it. She says, you ever, know somebody you feel like you've known forever, and then out of nowhere, they kind of change on you and they're not the same and yada, yada. And she's like, oh, are you talking about Storm? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, Stevie's like, you got to let it go. It's just, it's just a haircut. It's just a new style she's in. And Kitty's like, no, something just seems different. She seems like, and of course, as she's saying this, Storm walks in, and Storm's like what? Like a monster, as she says. And so definitely some hurtful words in a way, even though Kitty doesn't mean it to be hurtful, but she definitely is bothered by kind of this transformation that we've recently seen from Storm, and it's still very new. It's still very much like, where's this like different attitude coming from, and the way she's dressed, and her fighting style, and everything that we saw with the Morlocks recently. So yeah, she walks out, and I like how she puts her arm out. Kitty walks through it, and then Stevie's like, "Hey, just let her go. She needs time, whatever." And Storm is like, "Look, I'm actually kind of concerned that maybe Kitty's right in this regard." So almost questioning her own kind of sense of where she stands. So Eric, what are your thoughts on seeing Kitty here? She's struggling, still not used to Storm and this transformation that we've been seeing over the last couple issues.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad, for her, because we've seen their relationship has been kind of affected for the last couple of issues for quite some time, and we got the rebellious Storm, right? This is the rebellious version of Storm that we're looking at here, and even though she's trying to reach out to Kitty, she's still kind of cold in some sense, and Kitty kind of feels that, so that's why I think that's really going to be it's a difficult situation here, but besides the situation that's happened here, I do like the look though, right, John?
Oh man, huge fan. Kitty probably needs to get on board.
Yeah,
I love how Remina draws Storm here. Awesome.
Yep. Agreed. John, anything to add there on kind of seeing the struggles that Kitty is continuing to have with this transformation of Storm?
I mean, I think it's easy to be hard on Kitty, but she's still really young and trying to figure out some really big issues. She's had to carry a lot of weight early in her life here, and not necessarily mature enough to navigate some of these bigger ideas, and I think this was something that was stable in a world that was very unstable, was this mentor, this person who was a friend, but also someone who was a caregiver and someone who could provide safety nets for her in her life. And when you see that person going through a time of change, which is very tumultuous, I think it's unsettling for that young person. It's no different than for a kid or for a teacher-student relationship or what have you. I do like that they're taking the time to look at this dynamic. And these three ladies have a lot of scenes together in a lot of these books. Stevie as a shoulder for Kitty and an outlet for Kitty that's outside of the school and outside of the the fighting and things that they're doing. Stevie's been this friend to Kitty, and then allowing this place for Aurora to have a sort of trio of friends here, these three together, and I like that dynamic a bunch. Art wise, slaying that drawing of her with the full outfit. Yeah. And then my favorite is the bottom, the straight on Storm looking right at us at the bottom where Storm is really noticing that this is not just like an external change, that something in her has altered. And she's noticed that she's, even when she was in the knife fight with Callisto, a few issues back, that there's a darker side to her. Something else has come out, and she's trying to navigate what that means.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely agreed. Interesting story that I heard a little bit from Louise Simonson back, and this was Terrificon. They were sharing. She had a little talk with Chris Claremont. They were on stage. They had a segment, and she shared just briefly like the change in this was actually a relation to something that she went through in real life with, I think, her niece or something, that it was actually her and her husband, like they had two dramatically changed things the last time that her niece saw her. Like she cut her hair shorter, and Walter did something different. I don't remember all the details, but that's where they got the idea of this. Wanted to throw that in here while we were kind of highlighting this, but thought it was really cool.
Fantastic. I love that.
Yeah. I think I filmed some of it, so I'll have to see if I can find some of that and send it over to you. But it was a really cool detail of this is referencing a couple issues back when she was first angry, and kind of stomping upstairs or whatever.
I think Louise is one of those people that I think gets easily overlooked in the history of X-Men because editors don't necessarily get the praise that an artist or a writer might get. And then later when she moved in and did X Factor as a writer, maybe got a little more praise for what she was doing, but she really has been a part of these X-Men books as much as Claremont and anybody else. I think, Louise, it's amazing what she brought to this world.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, let's keep this going here. This is where we get into, and we've talked about this from last issue, where more and more Claremont continuing to sprinkle these seeds of kind of where everybody is currently. After we've kind of had this big event from issue 175 and kind of going through it. Last issue kind of being a filler issue with a bunch of little stories in it, and then of course we're getting other things here, so we're changing gears just a little bit again, where we get to see Lilandra and Professor X talking. They're in outer space. They're getting ready to ultimately go to war, where Lilandra's going to go back and try to reclaim her empire, because her crazy sisters taking over it and wreaking havoc essentially, and so this is kind of their last memory together for a while, their farewell, and what they're discussing here, but definitely a little bit of a struggle through this split and the decision that she has to make here. Again, it's just like a quick sprinkle, but Eric, any thoughts here with seeing these two? They're, again, not much going on in this set of panels, but it did take up a full page, and it's just, again, a little sprinkle of kind of what's going on in Lilandra's world with Professor X right now.
To be honest, after all the stuff I saw in the other panels, I kind of was like, all right, now we're going back to what's going on over here. I wasn't too interested in it and drawn into it, but it was, I kind of was like, all right, so what's going on here? And I know, if I'm correct, Professor X is able to walk now, right? At this point, right? I think something happened with the Brood before this. Yes. So I was like, okay, so he's still in that, he still got, wasn't it a clone or something like that? Did they clone him or something?
Yeah.
I'm already forgetting now.
Yeah, it was kind of like a clone body that they transferred his.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Mind into. But he still struggles with walking.
Right.
Mentally.
So my thought, to be honest, in this panel, even though they're talking about what's going to come, I think she's about to fight a war or something like that, and Professor X has concerns and stuff like that. I thought we're going to see something strange going on with him because of what happened before, but nothing really happened. So I really didn't, see much from here. I was just kind of interested in what's going to come next from it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And as Candace just put it, good refresher spread, and that's about it. Yeah. I think that's a fair point to explain it that way. John, anything to add there before I move on?
No, I mean, I love it. I know that this is an issue that kind of divides some X-Men fans. Do you like them in outer space as galactic warriors, or do you prefer them on Earth? One thing I'm excited by is that clearly the hair, eye makeup, fashion sense of Lilandra rubbing off on Charles there. Look at those eyebrows. Holy cow.
Yeah, you're right.
He's gone in and he did something there. It's almost like a mask.
he did something there.
He has picked up on her style. And, sometimes when two people are together a long time, they start to really blend, and it's happening. I'm just excited for it. I don't think he'll ever get hair like that because, obviously Chrome Dome, but he went with the eyebrows. It's a bold choice.
Yeah. It's a great observation there, John. The eyebrows. I didn't catch that first time around.
That's why I'm here. You never know what I'm going to spot.
That's right. All right. So another, sprinkling of seeds. We do get a little bit of Scott, the Summer Brothers, there with Corsair, as they have officially made the decision to stay on Earth, not go with him, as he's going to get ready to go with Lilandra. And in a way, he's kind of relieved. He's like, look, this is where I'm going. He's like, I'm a warrior and a pirate, and clearly not going to be safe. It's probably better where you are. He points out, Scott, you have a family now, you have a wife, you want to be able to, tend to your family. And so, they essentially had a good, time together during this time to kind of catch up, but ultimately they're going to move on. You get a little panel there of Lilandra and Corsair saying like, yeah, my boys essentially are talking to me as if we're going off to die, they're like, we could go back, we could quit, not do this. Lilandra says, no, I really can't, because I need to stop my sister, and Corsair says, yeah, in this case I'm not either. So they essentially take off from there. So again, just a little kind of sprinkling of this. John, anything to add with seeing this farewell from the Summer Brothers?
I mean, fashion icons. Look at those three boys together. Holy, I don't know what Havoc is wearing there. Alex looks like he's wearing like a green jumpsuit with green boots and then like some kind of like turtleneck piece on the top.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening there.
Yeah.
But clearly they get fashion sense from Dad, who has not stopped wearing that headband since whenever he started wearing it. He says, "It's my look. I got to keep wearing this. It doesn't matter what era we're in." But no, I mean, obviously, it's a tearful goodbye. Keeps the connection to the outer space stories of X-Men, but allows us to say, no, we're returning to Earth now for a period of time. So these characters will be gone. What's up, Chet?
Yeah. I was gonna say a quick hello to our good friend Chet. Says he'll catch the replay. Long day at work. I know for a lot of you, you're used to the Tuesdays, so we appreciate people hanging out here on a Monday evening. Eric, anything to add to these kind of seeds being sprinkled? The seeing Corsair going off to war with Lilandra essentially to get back her empire, and seeing the brothers stay behind.
Yeah, it looks kind of cool that they're all together. Of course, he feels kind of sad that he's leaving his children to go off to a war and stuff like that. And it doesn't look so gloomy. You got some nice colors going in there, right, John?
I mean, it's just fashion forward.
I thought Alex had on Banshee's costume. I'm like, what's he doing?
Oh my God, you're right. Holy cow!
Spot on. Yeah.
I was like, wait, hold on. I was like squinting, like, no. What, a spare costume or something like that?
We needed that hug from another angle because when he pulled his arms up, you'll see the flap, the big wing flap will pop up.
I'm like, wait, what was the color? Wait, it's a little turtleneck going on there. Like that. So that's pretty cool. A lot of colors going on there, but yeah, that scene was kind of cool, and I'm glad it kind of like. I'm not saying that Cyclops and Alex should have went with Corsair, but I think it was kind of good how they did that to set the stage for him leaving and them going back to Earth. Because I don't think it would have been like it wouldn't. I don't think it would have worked out great for them if they would have went with him. This is my opinion.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree. Side quest says space fashion. It's like they're stuck in the 70s. Yeah, it definitely has that vibe. And
still
Kitty
in the
Pryde
early 80s. We're still dealing with disco's disco's not fully dead yet.
Right. Ryan says everyone's Banshee in this issue. I mean, it's true. It's true. We're seeing several Banshees. Yeah.
He was a member of the new team. I mean, he earned a spot on that new team roster, right?
He did. Also, I wanted to point out in this particular scene, I feel like Corsair he just talks to Scott the entire time. Like he doesn't really,
nobody cares about Alex.
Right. He's like, Scott, you got a wife now, and so good luck. And they just kind of like,
Alex, I know you're banging the girl with the green hair. I think things are going well.
Yeah, right. Hey, we got my man Bill in the chat. What's going on, Bill? Good to see you, man. All right, let's keep this going here. We're getting towards the end. As we get to these final scenes, we have the group. Oh, this is taking place out in where did they say it was? In we flash over to Britain. They're at the Royal Ballet in Lincoln Center. Some of the X-Men are there for the night's performance. As you can see, we get Amanda Sefton with Nightcrawler there. Nightcrawler teasing Kitty and Colossus saying, make sure when you park the car, you guys make it back to us. Don't get distracted. Kind of busting her chops there. And then of course we get Amanda and Nightcrawler kind of having this deep conversation. Nightcrawler starting to bring up his curiosity of his family and his past, and raising the questions of wondering where he's from and what kind of happened. We don't know too many details at this time. Reading through this, we never really got full detail on Kurt, other than what we learned from was it Annual 4, I think, with Doctor Strange, like that annual few now 2 omnibus ago, and really other than that, she mentions here about him being dropped off as a child. He says, I know what mom told me. She found you as a newborn, barely alive. She brought you in, took you in under shelter, so on and so forth. And Kurt, kind of being hard on himself about it, said, yeah, she probably looked at me and took one look and let me go or ran away or whatever. But there was a mentioning of Margali Zardos, I think is how you say that, is what she said, to go talk to, talking about Mystique, when Mystique, their last meeting. I'm trying to think what issue that was. These two had maybe it was 175 actually, with the Brotherhood. Mystique had a one, or I don't know when it was. Now I think
I don't
about it.
remember the last
142,
Brotherhood
maybe.
showdown.
142. Didn't she say that to him?
I know that Chet mentioned 142.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, it was okay. Conversation from
I can't remember the last time. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because the Brotherhood was there. They were around, and it was like during their
if Chet's confident, I'm gonna just roll with it. 142.
Yes, yeah. When they were separating at the end, they kind of ran into each other, and Mystique had said, like, you want to know about your past, ask Margali we met in Annual 4 as part of that storyline. I see Candace saying Amanda. Yes, she knows who Amanda is now. Now we've gotten her in a few more issues here. So yeah, again, these are kind of sprinklings as they're walking. The two of them, you got kind of get a little side thing here. Eric, what are your thoughts here? Just anything, at this time when you were first reading it, like, did you know what was going on, or kind of like, I know I don't want to say like long-term spoilers or anything, even though these books have been out for so long, but where was your mind at here when you like read this?
My first thought, like, I remember the scene that Chet was talking about, and when he brought it up there, but I'm like, who the heck is this person he's supposed to talk to? Like, when he said, ask this person, who is that? That was my first thing I thought. And also I was like, kind of cool. And Nightcrawler with his I don't know if he has an image inducer on. No, he doesn't have an image inducer.
It doesn't look like he's using one right now, but yeah.
His getup was kind of cool. I was thinking about Michael Jackson, like this
yes.
Going on here.
I love how Candace calls him Carmen San Diego.
Yes, he does. There you go.
So good. That might be my favorite comment of the night.
Absolutely.
So good.
Yeah, he's got a lot going on there, but it was an interesting scene, and I think my thoughts about what's going to happen with that, because obviously it's bothering the hell out of him, and there's definitely something between those two. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's definitely something that's going to come up.
Sure. Yeah. No, definitely. John, what about you? Any thoughts here to add to these panels?
I mean, I'm like Candace. I like Amanda Sefton with Kurt. I like that coupling, and I think she's clearly shown. All those other. Remember back in the day when we had the first appearance of Amanda Sefton. It was a blind date, and several people. Those relationships didn't last. The only one who stuck around was Amanda. I think Amanda's phenomenal. I love that she is so caring of Kurt and is there for him and is all in. He better lock that down. Is what I'm saying, because it's
got
legit. She's interested, tail and all. She's interested. So hook that up.
Yep, beautifully drawn here too. Artwork wise,
her face reminds me of like old cartoon comic strips, like you'd see in the newspaper, like Apartment 4B or whatever. It has an old throwback style, which again. You could show this page to somebody who didn't know X-Men well. They would not think this was John Romita. This does not look like typical modern or later John Romita Jr. I think his early stuff is very different, and that's the stuff I love.
Yeah. Yep.
Eric's shaking his head. He's like, I don't know about this.
Go ahead, Eric. We're gonna ask
There's something I don't want to really bring it up and
okay.
say anything crazy, but there's a lot to do with the way the face is drawn. There's a lot to say about that, and and that's why it looks so awesome. Not to say he didn't do it, but there's a reason why.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the way she's drawn there kind of reminds me of those like the romance comics from, I guess that was was it like 60s and 70s, like maybe golden age, even some of that stuff.
That's what Candace says too. Yeah, like old romance.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah,
I love it.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah, very John Romita Sr.
Yeah, exactly. Far more in that classic Marvel style, right? That Marvel house style.
Yeah. All right, well, let's keep this going. We're right towards the end here. We get as we just see, Kurt and them kind of walking off. We get Peter and Kitty Pryde kind of walking from the car now. They park in this kind of a shady area. They make jokes about it, and they're walking back. And it's funny because she kind of expresses, Peter says, "What's going on? Like, you just seem a little down." and Kitty mentions like, yeah, I got a lot on my mind, a lot going on, and this one guy at class, she mentions this guy from her class, so it was Stevie Hunter. And they kind of start talking about that. She didn't get to finish the story because there's this explosion. As you can see, boom, written across the.
I love the way the boom. It looks like it's on the building.
On the building, yeah. And
So
these
good.
explosions, like fireworks, almost in the background. So of course, that changes up everything. Peter tells Kitty to, get the fire brigade. I'll go take care of this. They say they can hear like screams, and it seems like people are dying and they need help. So of course, he jumps into action here. He rips that nice blue suit jacket that he has. Shreds that apart. He didn't get the elastic version of that at that time. Didn't make it for him yet. So he goes, crashing through the doorway and notices that it's like almost like a rundown building, one that hasn't been used. So he's thinking maybe it's just, people who don't really live there but stay there, and like homeless. And so, of course, it turns out it's a trap. As you see the Blob, as we mentioned Blob earlier, John, before we got into breaking this down, but we haven't seen Blob in a little while now, so a little surprised to see him. And immediately he pretty much fesses up to, yeah, this is a trap, buddy, and you're going down. Like he doesn't even like deny it,
No,
so
he's not. It's the Blob. He's not subtle. There's no subtlety with this guy, right?
He's got one speed here, one level, and then he just. Backhands Colossus going flying, as you can see on those panels on the right. And Kitty's freaking out. She sees that he's in trouble. And then you see this awesome firebird come out of nowhere and grab Colossus from the sky. And of course, it's Pyro that you can see him down at the bottom right-hand corner. Absolutely wild set of scenes here. And I'm going to go to these last set, and we can talk about all this in one whoop. But this is where we end up going into where you get these wicked panels. Colossus is being held by this firebird that's created by Pyro. Not sure how or why, but he ends up letting go. He thinks it's because he can't hold on if it's his metal that kind of deflects it. Colossus also thinks to himself, I wonder what happens to my body if can I withstand so much heat? He thinks he can handle most of it, but he's always kind of asked that question: what happens if it gets too hot, for him or for his inner body? He goes flying into the ground like a meteor. He wakes up kind of basically thinking like, all right, hey, as long as I can take out all these guys, as long as Avalanche doesn't show up, I'm good. And of course, Avalanche, of course, shows up. And it seems like they have a full-on plan that they've had ready for him. They had these trucks that were all parked around. What is it? The liquid nitrogen.
It's the stuff they use in T2 to freeze the Terminator, the liquid Terminator.
Oh, there you go. Yes. So he hits that. They explode. Kitty Pryde hears a scream. She runs over. She screams Peter, and then we end the issue with Peter being what looks to be frozen and in pain, agony on his face there in that last beautiful semi splash page. This is how the issue wraps up. A lot of quick action right at the end after all this buildup and some in between stories. But John, I'm going to start with you. What were your thoughts on kind of the motion set here with Blob and everybody, setting up this?
I love the trap. I think it's really well executed. It makes a ton of sense. There's a little bit of science to it that works. The Blob, yes, he is he's a random bad guy, but I think he works really well with this team because you can't just punch your way through him. He's the Blob. He absorbs that energy. It doesn't impact him the same way. You've got to outthink how you strategize against playing him. My question was this, and this is the science nerd in me. Like go to if you can go to the next page where he falls down and he crashes, right? There's like nothing really around him but those trucks. Couldn't he just turn human again and then would the heat from his metal transfer to the skin version of him, even though he's not on fire anymore? He's just blazing hot. Could he turn human and then cool down instantly and then turn back into metal when the nitrogen comes out? I don't know. It just, my brain went through this phase, but clearly he's dealing with his metal form in a phase that it's never really been in before. But that's what I thought of.
Totally. And even he is like questioning, a lot of this as he goes through it. He's in the beginning, he's very confident. He's like, okay, throw all the fire you want at me. Like he knows he can handle it. He's been in similar heat moments.
Right.
You know, but yeah, ultimately in the back of his mind, he's like, what does happen if it gets too hot? And you know,
Absolutely.
science coming in and play definitely, but that's a good, I mean, it's a good thing. It's something to think about for sure. And I'm curious if it even crossed his mind at one point of yeah, could I just switch back, you know, and then switch back again, or how that would work. But no, you make a good point there. Eric, anything to add to that? What did you think of any of this when you were kind of coming across the end of this issue, or and what did you think of like the transition into the sprinkled moments right into you know, this rapid fire at the end here?
I gotta say, I feel bad for Colossus. He went to being stressed out. Like, who the hell's Doug Ramsey? Who's this
Yes.
guy?
Oh yeah. That was yeah.
Who
He's
the fuck is
concerned.
Doug Ramsey?
Yeah, I meant to
I
highlight
thought
it.
I
Yeah,
was
that's
the only
it.
guy. What
Right.
is going on? And then
Right.
that goes on, and then that, like, wow, he went through so much. He's I feel bad for him. So yeah, it was kind of very Mystique planned, because
Yeah.
I don't think those characters would have planned this out like this. This looked like something Mystique would have put together, because we see in the beginning, right? And then we see this all happen just in this order. So
Yeah.
I immediately thought Mystique is behind this, even though we don't see her in the panels. And I really thought Colossus was going to come out of this, you know, especially when
Right.
he's turning red and they show him like red and he goes to like white crystal hot and he's got his fist up like he's going to freaking kill them. He's, you know,
Yes.
it makes me think about X-Men 100 when Havoc was putting all the heat on him and he's getting pissed off. So I'm like, all right, he's going to come out of it. And then we see the nitrogen and it was over. But very, like I said, the way that last panel just like, boom, you know, what's going to happen to him? Looks like the petrified man there, you know?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
So, really cool.
Yeah, I like as you pointed out, those panels of Colossus there, the red and the almost fading white because how hot he's getting there. Those are some cool layouts that Ramita had done there, and even with the coloring and everything else, definitely agree. I kind of assumed there was going to be a cliffhanger of some sort because we weren't like quite getting somewhere, but we were kind of going in a direction. But man, that ending page was definitely a wild one, and to see Colossus the way he was there, definitely not a pretty sight. Yeah, agreed. Candace, definitely a good cliffhanger for sure. So that wraps up essentially the issue. I do want to get your guys' final thoughts here and kind of, you know, where this stands for you. How would you grade it? John, I'll start with you. Issue as a whole, plus anything else, if you wanted to mention anything else there towards the end. And also, how would you grade this issue if you were to put it on a scale?
I think this one ranks really high for me. And it may just be that I had gone into this omnibus feeling like I was going to have to defend John Romita Jr. a whole bunch and talk about why I really appreciate his time on the X-Men and what it meant to me as a reader. This bolstered my happiness about this era, and I'm very excited for it. I know Chet's not as big a fan, but I love this early look. This issue was really well laid out, really well drawn. I didn't have issues following panels. It was, the action moved really clearly from page to page and panel to panel. Mm-hmm. The face work was really good. The costumes were really wild and fun. So this overall ranks really high for me. I'm probably going to do a 9.2. I think is what I finish out on this one. I really just was happy. Gave me all the nostalgia feels. So yeah, I'm all in. Loved it. And a good cliffhanger, great Mystique story. Yeah, all good.
Awesome. Very cool. Eric, what about you? What were your final thoughts on the issue, and how would you grade it on a CGC scale as we grade them here?
I would go 9.2 also.
Nice.
Reason being, I mean, the buildup is amazing. You're confused. Yeah. It takes you off guard in the beginning, and it continues to build up to the end. Even though he's sprinkling things over in the issue where things are going on in different places, like in the up in space with Professor X, and then you go back to Kitty Pryde and Aurora. But the buildup until the end was amazing. I think it was well done. The panels, 9.2 overall.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you guys. Definitely a 9.2. I would almost go as far as a 9.4, even if it just had a little bit of a better cover. But you know, I'm with you, man. The story, the pacing of everything, I think was really well. We got a ton of story, but in a way that it didn't feel like it was dragging. It didn't feel like it wasted any time on one particular page or panel or story arc or anything like that. And it also hits a lot of heavier points on what the team's dealing with right now internally.
Sure.
each of them. I mean, even the smallest things, as Eric pointed out, Peter being jealous, like just to show that jealousy. When Kitty had mentioned, another guy's name while they were walking in the alleyway, there is just a little subtle hint of a character build, and just getting knowing where they stand. So from that to Nightcrawler, obviously questioning where he's from and what his history is, all the way to the relationship between Mystique and Rogue, her wanting to get her back and not believing that Rogue would just willingly join the X-Men. Like, it covers so much. And so I'm right there with you guys. This is a really, really great issue. And one, I mean, I've always seen this cover, flipping through the X-Men boxes and things like that. And I've always been curious as to what it's about. The cover is accurate, right? I mean, we do get technically a Wolverine-ish person standing.
But imagine if this cover was like a Mystique looking boss cover with dead X-Men all around her. This book would be that's a wall book all day.
Yeah. That's it'd be cool if someone did that, like an artist, even just as a side thing where they went and recreated.
That was what the fun of the classic X-Men was. They gave you an alternate cover. Yeah. So there were a few times when that Art Adams cover would hit, and you'd be like, "Ooh, that might be better than what they gave us first time around."
Yeah, that's fair. Chet is saying it's a 9-0 for him as well. He's up there for sure. So yeah. Side quest says cover didn't line up, but made you open it and read it. It's true. So very cool. Before we get into the to the money and everything else. No, you know what, John? I the other panels that we're going to show, I'll do it after the gradings here. So
what's up, Stu is in the chat. Dr. Doom fan club. What's up, Stu?
Hey, what's going on, Stu? Good to see you, man. Station. You're just in time. We're about to talk about some of the key elements here for this book, and then we're going to get into some Q&A. So make sure you stick around here in just a few minutes. Again, anybody watching right now, or if you're watching the replay, make sure you are following our guest, Ex-Illusionary Comics, Eric. We appreciate you being here with us. It's been good time so far. So here's key elements, not much other than I had highlighted. There's, we always go over the consensus. This is all numbers based on Go Collect. And they do have on the CGC census 110.0. And it looks like it was last sold in 2004 for $604.
Man, that book's got to be worth so much more now.
Yeah. So a 10.0 and then also a 9.9. So both of those on the consensus.
I think Chet has both, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he probably owns them both. 9.8s. There's a good 210 of them out there. I'm sure this wasn't necessarily one that too many people, went about getting, graded high grade to begin with, but fair market value, at least from a 12-month, perspective, $90, really, really not too bad. Of course, it cuts in half. Yeah. The 9.6 goes down to 44. So, even just a nice, I feel like my raw copy is pretty up there, in comparison to some of these. So,
but it's also a book that, to your points earlier, you want to open it and look at the inside, right? Slabbing it almost feels like wrong.
Right, because so the story's so good. It's like, I agree. Chet says, nope, I have this raw. Oh man, Chet slacking. guys, you take John Byrne out of it.
He only wants the Byrne era. That's all he wants in the 9.8.
Eric, any thoughts on just looking at some of these Go Collect numbers here before we wrap up?
Affordable. Definitely for anything under a 9.9, so 9.8 and down, definitely affordable. Yeah. And also, I kind of agree with you too. Something like this, you want to read it. Yeah. I don't know if Slabbing is the first choice to make. You gotta really like the cover. Now, if it was the Mystique with the dead bodies around, maybe there would be more 9.8. So I don't know. Yeah. Maybe more graded, but I would probably I have a raw copy of it, so that's just my take on it.
Yeah. I would be curious to go. I'll have to look up the classic X-Men cover to see or the X-Men classic, see if that's any better or any different. Maybe they did kind of go in a different direction. But John, what about you? Anything to add here before we get into Q&A and everything else? I
think we pretty much covered. The only thing I would say that this book does do, and I think Eric mentioned it as well, is it pushes the backstory for Mystique, right? This is you could argue that there's a little backstory to Mystique, a piece here that's important that we'll build on later on,
Yeah, And hey, as we talked about earlier, even offline, like just Chris Claremont, this is what he does. He's more and more building on top of these all these little seeds that he keeps sprinkling, and it all builds to something. So definitely looking forward to more of it. I do have one more panel here, and John, you had sent me a couple screenshots you want me to include here.
Yeah. So I wanted people to know that in 2 weeks, not this comic book Wednesday, but in 2 weeks from there, the 29th, there's an X-Men Blue Origin one shot. And this is by Cy Spurrier. He's doing the Uncanny Spider-Man right now, and he's done a lot of Nightcrawler over the last few years. He's doing this one shot, and it's supposed to be like a retcon redesign origin for Nightcrawler, meaning all the information put together in one place, one big exposition, backstory for Nightcrawler and Mystique. So if you want to continue the knowledge of this relationship between Mystique and Nightcrawler, this might be a one shot that you want to grab. It sounds like he's going to be sort of creating the definitive version of his backstory, which is cool because he's been writing really great Nightcrawler stuff the last few years. So I would be excited to see him iron out the kinks in what's going on here. On top of which, great variant covers for this as well. There's a really gorgeous 1 in 50. That's that you can see there, the little square. But I'm all into it. So I'm definitely grabbing this book.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's I've been really enjoying a lot of the current X-Men stuff right now, and I didn't even realize that this was coming out, but until you sent it to me.
I think they're doing a few one shots between now and the fall of X and into the new era they're going to kick off here, and this was just one of them that they piqued my interest. So it's called X-Men Blue Origins, and it's number 1, but there's no sequel.
One shot. Yeah, right. Yeah. Stu said he might have to check this out. Eric SideQuest says straighten out the weird stuff. Yeah,
you kind of need to every once in a while. You need to iron it out. Just iron it out.
Yeah. All right, so that's gonna wrap up the slideshow that we have here. We don't go away though. We do have some questions, some Q&A. This is for the live chat here, listening right now. So here's how it goes down. We're gonna ask 4 questions tonight. We are looking for 2 correct answers and 1 funny answer. So as we ask these, just make sure you're the fastest at typing out the correct answer. And if you don't know the correct answer, write the funniest one down. Try to make this man laugh right here, because he's going to choose what he thinks is the funniest answer in the comments. And if he chooses your name, you'll get your name added to our list that we're going to do raffles for and giveaways at the very end of the season. So if you're one of those 3 for each of the questions, then you're on the board. So John, we'll start with you. Go ahead with your first.
So we mentioned, that last week's issue was focusing a lot on Scott, in particular, battling this tentacled beast. But before he battles the tentacled monster, he fights another creature. What is the other creature that he fights first? Right. Yes. The good news is magic lassos hit his bedtime. Old Wolf didn't even show up. So 2 of the guys that tend to dominate here. Oh, never mind.
JP's sleeping. He's
Lasso's here. Yeah, JP's not here. Chance to really take away some stuff from the big boys there. Oh, spelling.
We do say spelling does matter if your name is Chet and you're in the chat. That's really make sure. Otherwise it does not count. But remember, if you don't know the correct answer, we are looking for funny answers as well. So what is the other creature? See, SideQuest knows. He goes, come on, spell check. Come on.
Spell check. Get that spell check ready. Don't let it spell check you out of the thing here. So this
is not correct.
Not Chet, correct.
Sorry. Shall is not.
Shall I answer correctly? Yes. You need to answer correctly. However, he was able to type the answer twice, and second time's the charm here. Yes. The answer was a shark. It was a giant shark creature thing that jumped out. Yep. So Lasso and Chet with the correct answers.
Yep.
Comedy answers. We've got Jaws from Candace.
Yep.
We've got insecurity
around alpha males.
It's a tough thing to battle. You really got to be careful.
Too. Nice one. Ryan said he found Diana Ross's wig.
He fought it. He battled.
He fought Diana Ross's wig. Is that true?
This is your first point. Yeah, Lasso did not. He was not aired in the live chat last time.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, SpongeBob. All right, Chad. His Aquafina hair.
They really had some hold last week.
Yeah.
Really.
Oh, we got Fable in the chat. Station, brother. Good to see you. One collection down. Let's see. Apparently he fought the trade dress. I mean, that's
he really
true.
did.
Yes,
that's a true comment. He did battle
a cool
that trade
dress. Yeah. Eric, any of these comments that stand out to you as your favorite or funniest answer for that question?
I think the insecurity around alpha males is funny.
All right, we're going with Stu. Stu is on the board. Nice.
Got him.
All right. My first question here, if I can find my set of questions here.
I can read them to you. I got it.
I was just going to say, I thought I had it all written out here.
You texted it to me.
I know. I was like, did I delete it? Oh, here it is. My notes are so messy. Okay. All right. So my first question, what did Mariko send to Wolverine via Imperial Messenger? There was something that Mariko sent Wolverine. It was just, again, talking about sprinkling the seeds. It was just a small scene from last issue. Really was not the focus around last issue at all, but it did have a small scene where we found out that Mariko sent Wolverine something via Imperial Messenger. What was the thing that Mariko sent? Should get some interesting answers here. And I will say this is a little tricky, John. Yeah. I don't know how. I mean, the answer that I had texted you, it is a little more specific.
Very specific. You gave a very specific answer.
I went by the book, literally what was stated in the book. So if that hints to anyone,
so do you want to see if you can get two people with the very specific answer?
Yes. Okay. Which I do see a correct answer. Ryan here, this is not the correct answer. It says underwear of the month club subscription is what she sent him. Okay, I do see the correct answer twice here. So the first one, the answer was Honor Blade.
The Honor Blade.
Yes, the Honor Blade from her clan that she expressed that she felt that he deserved it after what he had done to really save the whole situation from her father. And so she sent it to him. He was a little disappointed. He's like, you didn't have to, just have this mailed to me or whatever. But so the honor breaks to Chet and Ryan. Got the correct answers here. Candace says a can of whoop ass is what she sent him. I like it.
Comes in the mail. You better duck.
Yeah. Jumps out of the card. Anything else here? I think
those are the two comedy answers, Lasso and Candace. Canadian Dry tastes bad, truthfully.
Canadian Dry. Eric, any of these options here you want to go with tonight for this question?
Can of whip ass is funny.
All right,
Candace.
Candace on the board.
This is her third. She's already got three. She was holding it down last week.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
All right.
All right. Go ahead, John.
My last question is, despite their lives being in danger, what do Scott and Madeline constantly do while they're facing risks? What are they constantly doing last week? There's a lot of ways you can go with this, I suppose.
Yeah, this is I would call this a layup.
Ooh,
for sure.
I don't think I can accept emojis. I'm sorry, side quest. I'm gonna go with Chet and Candace on this one.
All right.
Making out or kissing.
Hang on, let's just check grammar here.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah,
just like four letters. Knights in Satan's service. Kiss.
All right, we'll give it to you, Chet. We'll give it to you. All right, Chet. Did you say Candace?
Candace. They made out. Okay. Yeah, they're making out.
Ryan says they stir the spaghetti sauce.
That's what Alex is doing with Polaris, right? They're
yeah, they were in the kitchen. Yeah,
that's why they're not getting the hug right from Dad. He doesn't care. He's like, he's making spaghetti with his girl. He's fine. He can handle it. This other guy's fighting sharks. He needs me to take care of him.
This is great. Candace says, put the plane on autopilot. Yeah, I mean, they definitely had mentioned that a few times while they were flying. They were like, we need to get someone else to fly this plane.
Yep.
And
it's not wrong, Chet. You're not wrong.
SideQuest is dang.
I'm gonna be just because SideQuest, you weren't wrong. You just did it with emojis. I'm gonna throw you a point. I'm gonna throw you an entry because we've never had an emoji correct answer eligible even. So I'm gonna give it to you just as like a gold medal kind of thing. You earned that.
Nice. All right. Yeah, that extra effort. I like it. Yeah. Let's see. Just sorry.
It's not on my channel. It's on his channel.
Yeah. What the heck, man? Let's see. Eric says, "Floating Bob." Floating Bob. That's what they did. I mean, they did. They did do that. All right. Eddie,
a little light on the comedy this round.
Yeah.
Sorry if my question didn't set anybody up as well.
Anything there stand out to you there?
Magic Lasso with Mile High Club punch card punched.
I mean,
that one, that's funny.
There it is.
Oh, all right, there it is.
There it is. Ryan is back. Justin runs his broadcast into the morning hours like oh, chat.
Oh, buddy. All right. Last question of the evening. Then we're going to wrap up here. Appreciate everybody hanging. We still got 9 people with us. Let's see. My last question is, who were the... Oh, okay. So let me just clarify. We are looking for correct spelling.
And we are looking need to justify it.
And we are looking for first and last name of each character,
not superhero identity.
Right. It has to be a first and last name. It has to be spelled correctly in the same comment. That's what we're looking for correct answer. So the question is, who were the 2 X-Men Lego characters that I held up on camera last episode, during last issue, during the breakdown? There were two characters that I had held up with my large collection of Lego, including a lot of cool X-Men minifigs. There were 2 that I held up. Who are the characters, their names? Who are they that I held up on camera? Yes, this is going to require you to not know so much about the issue, but more know about watching the show from last week over on John's channel, which
I've only got one of them here next to me, so I've only got
as a reminder, make sure you're following John, because we will be back on his channel 9:00 Eastern next Tuesday. We'll be back to our regular channel here. And also, while people are putting answers in, want to thank you, Eric, for joining us. As always, we appreciate you being a part of this show. And I know your love for X-Men is the same as ours, if not more. And so you bringing your knowledge and your experience on with this and just having a good time with us, we really do appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. Always. All right. So I only
no, you don't. I just double checked it. There's no correct answers. Spelling, folks. Spelling. It's gonna get you.
Oh yeah, you're right. I thought there was one, right. But you're right.
Nope, not even the one that I thought was the one is not the one.
Oh man, it's brutal, man.
Justin's mean to you guys.
The minute he's
just mean.
Because I didn't want to just put, first name. It's too easy, I thought I'd put a little.
There is
more of a
one correct answer now, and you can copy and paste anybody who's there. You can copy and paste people.
Just start copy pasting.
Go copy somebody over.
Yeah, I'd be more interested to see how people can add a comedy to this, because it is tough naming.
I already see one person crushed it on the comedy front.
Let me see.
Magic
gosh.
Lasso.
Oh yeah. Let me have. So Ryan said Lego Rachel Dinners and Lego Taylor Swift as Disco Dazzler. Damn. Well said, my friend. Well said. Okay. I think We have the.
I'm not gonna say it. I don't know.
Wait, hold on. Let me count here real quick. That's not correct. That's not.
Oh, wait, we do have two. Okay.
Yeah, we have two. We have
We
two.
do have two.
Okay, so the correct answer, surprisingly, actually is the man who usually messes up the most.
I'm saying he got capital letters.
Yeah,
yeah.
Chat. That's exactly how I actually typed it to John.
I feel bad for Bobby DeLeghetto, who
I know, Bobby. You left the S off of Summers, man. You
Summers.
left the S off
Bobby.
of Summers.
Bobby, I'm sorry, my brother. My brother.
On my end, I have Chet first, and then Ryan second. Is that
I do? Yeah,
that order, right? Okay.
And Candace had the A instead of the E in gray, so I think she kind of got hit there anyways.
Candace, you had the E here, but Logan was incorrect. Then you had the A, but you came after. Yeah,
Bobby, we still love you, brother.
It's close.
He's choosing us.
Bobby's like thumbs down this episode.
I'm out of here. I'm never coming back. Flip the table, Bobby. Flip the table.
Adam makes stuff up. What's going on, man?
What's up, Adam?
Good to see. He goes, I missed this one. I really liked 177. We did too, man. We gave it a high grade. Go back and watch the replay, brother. Hope you're doing well. Cheers to you, Bobby. Sorry. All right, so John, you got the two names down, right?
Yep. We just need the comedy answer here.
Yeah, we're looking for a comedy answer. We had a couple. I'll give you another 30 seconds here.
I saw two comedy answers, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say Stu. I saw said Storm and Storm is my answer in homage to John's new TikTok tragedy series. Someone help him. # someone help John.
Yeah, so I've been posting these videos just trying to do the X-Men randomizer, trying to get Storm in the #1 spot, and she's ducking me. It's not looking good for John. It's not looking good. Thought we were simpatico. Clearly, I'm coming on a little too hot.
I like that Chess said. I mean, I've known Gene and Scott longer than I've known all of you. It's fair.
That's a mind blowing fact. That's true. I think of me as well.
Yep.
Wow.
Let's see. Yeah, Psycho says 7 times. All right. Seems like we're winding down here. So looks like the only two options here, Eric, that you got at the moment are Stu with the Storm and Storm, or Ryan Magic Lasso with the Lego Rachel Dinners and Lego Taylor Swift as Disco Dazzler. Which one do you want to go with here, Eric?
The one with the Disco Dazzler is funny.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll go with Magic Lasso. There it is. Add him to the board. Another one. Ryan's come back
Ryan
strong.
Came back with a thunder. He is on the board with thunder and authority.
Yes. Yeah. Very good. Well, again, we appreciate everybody who's hanging out. I know we're kicking off the season again past couple weeks, so good to be back into the groove of things, breaking down Omni X-Men, the Omnibus here again, on to volume 4. So it's been a blast. We'll be talking for 178 over on John's channel. Make sure you're following him. Eric, again, I just want to thank you, man, for taking some time to be with us. As always, we appreciate you being with us.
Appreciate you guys. I had an amazing time. It was a lot of fun. And I love the comedy.
Heck yeah. Oh man, we're always laughing, man. We're always laughing on this one. Always goofing around. Eric, do you have anything you want to highlight here before we wrap up? You have any shows coming up or anything you're going to be on? I know you do some live streams once in a while over on your Instagram channel as well. And posted some cool stories.
Well, I'm doing a comic show this weekend in Farmingdale.
Oh, nice.
So
Farmingdale?
Yeah, I'm gonna be set up there. But I also have a live coming up soon. I'm not sure if you see my page. The first page that's pinned is a video where I do a showcase of someone's collection. I'm going back to that same person's home, and we're gonna do a new one. That was gonna be we're gonna edit it. It's gonna be really nice. So hopefully get it done before December.
All right. Very cool. Well, yeah, again, I put all of Eric's information in the description below. Make sure you're following him over on Instagram. Reach out to Eric. Talk comics with the man. Very knowledgeable. Not just X-Men, all things comic related. So, definitely appreciate you being on the show, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. All right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap up here. So, in the meantime, take a moment, smash that like button. And until next time, we will talk to you